On the cusp, in the car. I'm in the Corolla, riding around. Won't be long, I'll be on the Johnny Cash Concert Experience tour. But before then, I got to get in a bunch of episodes because I'm not going to be in the car, I'm going to be on the bus. And I ain't going to have time or the quiet to be able to do this. Might have to change the name of the podcast if I keep it up there because I won't be in the car ever for 10 weeks. And I can't take 10 weeks off. No, sir. I work too. I'm too hard of a worker now to. Oh, you can't take. That's Bill Monroe's voice. For those of you bluegrass enthusiasts. Oh no, you can't be taking time off like that. Now you got to hit the road. You got to get out there and keep that podcast going. That Pope boy now he can't be lagging around and leaving his fans and just awaiting. So that's right. See, Bill Monroe now he took care of the fans and he was a workhorse. No, he didn't take. No, I didn't take time off or nothing. No, sir. And that Flat and Scruggs, now they were in my band for a while, but they got out and they couldn't keep it in tune. And they got over there on that Beverly Hillbillies, and I don't know nothing about no hillbillies. Now we used to put on a tie and a nice outfit and go out and put on a show for the folks. We didn't look like no hillbillies wearing no overalls or nothing like that. No, sir. So that's Bill Monroe. He didn't put up none of that junk. He's the father of bluegrass music. That's right, bluegrass music came from Kentucky back in 1949. That's right, or 1939. Oh, I was off a decade there. It just, time goes by so fast. Bill Monroe died years ago. All right, for those of you who are not in on that joke, I'm sorry. Moving on. This episode is about the time that I thought I was on the cusp of stardom. That's right, pure stardom, folks. I think the year was 2007. Yeah. I'm going to go with Christmas of 08. Somewhere in there. I had this drummer. I laughed just thinking about it. This drummer, a friend of mine, he told me that the music business is all about just convincing folks that you're something, even if you're not. It's all about the perception, not the reality. And then just perform. When you're in the moment, just perform. And when you do, you can keep it going. So that's how people make it. That's what he taught me. And I'm not going to mention his name because I do like him. I mean, he's a good drummer. He's a good guy. But he was caught up in the whole music business thing. And he was trying to manage some people and sell some people on some big dreams and big ideas. And he came along and started playing drums for me. And he was full of ideas. One of his ideas was to take the Waffle House menu, take a picture, or actually steal a menu, I think, and make a little laminate to hang around your neck of the Waffle House menu, and then go into Waffle Houses and tell them that you're from corporate and get free meals with it. He said he actually did this at one time. That's kind of shady, I know. I should out him, but I'm not going to do it. So, this guy, somehow, let me tell you, in Hendersonville, Tennessee, every year they do Christmas for Kids, and they bring a bunch of tour buses up there, and big country music stars get on the tour buses. Usually, the whole concept started with you sit on your own tour bus, which that's less and less of a thing now because people lease tour buses, but they still have a bus that they lease. So you go sit on your bus, and people get in big lines, and they go through the Walmart parking lot in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and they go up in the bus and get your autograph, and they see your tour bus. And that raises money for Christmas for Kids, and it's a real wonderful thing. Well, one year, this drummer friend of mine from way back, I don't know who he convinced, but he got me on a tour bus to sign my own autographs. That's right. Come on Adam Pope's tour bus and sign autographs. Now, friends, I had never been on a tour bus before. Only bus I'd ever been on was the church bus. I'd never even been on a school bus. I was homeschooled. I mean, the church bus, at least it wasn't a short bus. It was a long bus, but we used to take the church bus up to camp. That's it. I ain't never been on no school bus, no tour bus, no nothing. And here I am being ushered onto this big fancy tour bus and given a pen and a pile of CDs, or actually a Sharpie and a pile of my CDs and some 8x10s they had printed up. And I had to sit there, and unsuspecting people stepped on that bus, never heard of me before, and thought they were looking at a big country star. Man. And I was sitting there feeling like the biggest fraud you ever saw. This was not in my nature to go along with something like this. So I had fun with it. First of all, I thought it's what you're supposed to do. I thought I had me a manager, all right? I was just doing what he told me to do, but I felt uncomfortable with it. So I found little ways to rebel against him. For instance, people would come on the bus and, "Hi, this is little Maggie. She wants an autograph." "Well, hi, little Maggie." And I'd say, "Have you ever seen a bus like this?" And she'd go, "No, sir." I'd say, "I hadn't either, till now. It's my first time." And the drummer guy, my manager, well, my drummer, a.k.a. manager, he'd go, don't say that. I was having a big time by acting like I'd never seen one and because I hadn't. It wasn't an act. So I was telling these people, "Yeah, man, I ain't never been on one like this. This is nice." They'd go, "Well, don't you ride around in this?" I said, "No." I told a few of them. When they asked, I had to be honest. I'd say, "No, I've never rode in one of these." And then I'd say, "But I'm going to tonight." Because that's the other part of the story. I had to ride on the bus to a big show, friends, a big old show. I was opening for a Hollywood guy. He wasn't a star. I'm going to say his name, Larry Bagby. That's right, Larry Bagby from California, from Los Angeles in Nashville. He's renting a tour bus, and we're going down to Alabama to play a big show with Larry Bagby. That's what we were sold. Well, Larry Bagby was a nice guy, and he was an actor, and he was in a big-time movie. Early on in his life, he was a child actor, and he played in Hocus Pocus. He was a kind of a punk kid in Hocus Pocus. Well, then he grew up, and he got a role that was awesome. He was in the Johnny Cash movie, Walk the Line. That's right. Reese Witherspoon, Joaquin Phoenix, and Larry Bagby. Now, you probably hadn't heard of him. He was the bass player in the band that Joaquin Phoenix played in. So Larry Bagby, I think he said one or two lines in the movie. He played bass. So that's it. That's Larry Bagby. All right, I'm not diminishing it. That's way more than I've ever done. Okay, I'm not demeaning him. But Larry Bagby came in on his high horse, was going to go down. Now, he might have been sold a bill of goods too. All right, so I'm not going to blame him. But Larry Bagby has a big show booked at Cowboys down there in South Alabama, Dothan, Alabama, down there by the state line. I mean, I'd been hearing about this. This is a big time deal. I had to take 2 days off work from washing boats to go do all this. So you can believe that I was fired up. So I signed autographs in my tour bus all night long. And then I don't think that was the bus. We got on a bus just like that. May have been that bus, actually. So we got... My band was Larry Bagby's band. My drummer / AKA manager was also Larry Bagby's drummer / AKA manager / salesman. He was our Colonel Parker for the weekend. And he sold Dothan, Alabama. For those of you who don't know, Colonel Parker is Elvis Presley's longtime manager, who basically was a shark that got all the deals and tied his boy down to terrible movies and all the stuff all the reasons you roll your eyes at Elvis, it's basically Colonel Parker. He was behind that. Elvis was an amazing artist who was caught up in the machine that Colonel Parker put him in. And he could have got out of it, but he just went with it because he's a country boy and he didn't have the fight, I guess. Except for every now and then. And when it came out, man, he was amazing. Elvis was. When that fight came out and he stood his ground, stuff like Suspicious Minds happened. And In the Ghetto and If I Can Dream. That kind of stuff happened when Elvis had his way. So, moving on. We're just these little two peons with this little peon of a guy that likes us and wants us to be successful so he can ride our coattails. So he's got us on this bus and we are riding all night long. We got us a tour bus driver and we're on our way to Dothan, Alabama. And I think I was dating Amy at this time. This had to be Christmas of 2008, somewhere around then, December. We got down there. By the way, we drove all night. I slept in a bunk. I had my band, of course, like I said, Larry Bagby's band. And we're riding all the way down to Dothan. We get down there and we got off this fancy bus. Fancy. And we walked in the venue and we did a quick sound check and stuff. And we were like, man, this is high dollar, right? We get out of here. This is a huge place too. And they're telling us like Billy Ray Cyrus just played here and blah, blah, blah. We're like, whoa, nice. And Larry Bagby, he's kind of cool too. Back at that time, man, I got big wide eyes. Like I'm looking like, man, I'm hanging out with this dude from LA, signing autographs all night in the tour bus, sleeping in it on the way down to Alabama. Man, I'm a big star right now. Unfortunately, Monday, I got to be back at work washing boats again. And I remember it was like Cinderella at midnight. Is that the one? Anyway, that's what was going to happen to me. So it didn't happen at midnight though. It happened as soon as we walked out of the venue to go get our showers. They said, we're going to drive you over to the band house where you're going to get a cat nap and take a shower. And I'll be daggum if they didn't pull up in a rusty old pickup truck and put me in the bed of it and drive down a gravel road 10 miles in December. I mean, the wind's blowing. It's like planes, trains, and automobiles. I feel like Steve Martin sitting in the back of this truck. I'm waiting on a dog to jump out of a bale of hay. And I'm sitting there freezing. It is Alabama. It ain't Alaska, but it's still December. It's cold. It's like 40 degrees. And I'm riding, freezing my nuts off. Let's just go with that. And I am riding over there to the band house, and we get there, and it's a crappy little trailer. Dumpy thing. So we go in this nasty trailer, and it stinks, and the shower is gross, and oh my gosh, I finally got out of there. I had to ride in a stupid truck all the way back. Wind blowing, dust. I don't even know why I took a shower. I had to get back in the dust all the way back to the venue. Well, finally I get to the venue, get cleaned up again in the bathroom, and it's showtime, and I'm opening for Larry Bagby. And here I go running out there, and there's a camera, and nobody's there. I'm telling you, there wasn't maybe 5 people there, and they worked there. Nobody came. And the camera was there. The drummer set it up and went behind the drums and started playing, hit record. And he recorded this performance, and I don't know where it is. I remember back then I saw some footage of it. I don't have it. I don't know where it is, but then Larry Bagby came out, and I don't think there was more than 5 people when he played. And that, my friends, is what the music business is like sometimes. You get caught up with somebody who's willing to spend a bunch of money to just run around and invest. This is how you blow tons of money in the music business. But if you can't put butts in the seats, it don't matter. It don't matter who you are or how good you think you might be. If there ain't no butts in the seats, you ain't nobody in the music business. If you can't put butts in the seats. And we couldn't that day. And it don't matter, that tour bus and all that stuff, it didn't feel good when I was sitting there playing for an empty room. It did not feel good. And I tell you what, that ride in that truck, that sure felt like a waste of time. That wasn't worth it either. So it was a good lesson learned. I went back to work Monday, and I made more money washing boats that Monday than I did on that huge excursion that gained me 0 fans. But it did gain me some experience and a good story when for about a few hours I thought I might be, just might be, on the cusp of writing a letter to Mama and telling her I made it big. When I told all my friends at work about riding the bus, signing autographs, they thought it was so funny and so cool that the story made it worth it. And that's what it's all about, the stories. So thank you for listening. Till next time, have a good one.